Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I've got a little update on the 37 Ford Custom two-door sedan doing for the under 1,000 subs group build. Been working on it and I like how it's turning out. I got the top's about done. Just got a little bit of fiddling to do with the top yet, but I've got it on all four wheels and kind of mocked up. Now I've spent most of my time on this build fiddling with fitment issues. Man, I hadn't built this car in a long time, and maybe that's why, I don't know. This issue is the first issue from '87, so you can't really blame, molds from getting out of whack and reissues on this one, because this is the first one, but I've spent a ton of time just getting the body to fit, to make sure there's no gaps between the cowl from here, because the hood will run downhill. Right now, the thing's sitting out of a bit of a gangsta lean, kind of listing to starboard, if you will, because the chassis and the fender unit just don't fit nicely together. I don't understand it, but I'll just shim it when it's time to glue it down finally, and it'll be okay. But I've spent a ton of time. In fact, one of the things I've done is I fit the firewall to the fender unit. The body is loose, but the firewall is glued into the fender unit, and I sanded it and pushed it down in there real good, and then fit the body to the firewall, and that actually helped with fitment issues. I also tried to tweak the frame a bunch because the frame wasn't fitting very well. I actually broke the frame off right in front of the rear wheels and had to re-glue it, and it fit a little bit better, but it's not great. One of the things I did was I set the stance before realizing the frame was all out of whack. So I had the 37 front end, and I had to get rid of that, because once the frame was kind of back in shape, it sat really high in the front. So what I've got now in the front is the dropped axle and split wishbones from the Revell 40 Ford convertible or 40 Ford coupe kit. It sits a lot lower in the front than it did before in the first mock-up, and tail draggers usually need to have their tail drag, but man, the tire tuck looks so good right there that I'm gonna leave it just sitting level like it is. What else? I've got, in the earlier video, I talked about doing a Lincoln bumper, but I got this 48 Ford bumper. I felt like it just looked a lot better than the Lincoln bumper. But I do have the Lincoln bumper still on the rear. And I think that looks pretty good. Now, I'm not sure what to do with taillights yet, whether I should do the stalkers or some other form of taillights. Let me know in the comments what you think. But it's coming up pretty well. I even removed a body line right here. There was a body line from the roof that would come down right there. I sanded all that out. I'm gonna retain the hinges for the trunk, and I'm gonna retain the trunk handle. And do you hear that? My 2-year-old's really unhappy that she had to go to bed. I'm also going to retain, I think, instead of doing the louvered hood, I'm going to retain the stock hood with the hood ornament, because I think that would be authentic for that back then. The roof turned out pretty good. It's not great, but it's good. I like it. I really like the profile. And it actually doesn't even look too bad with the roof, with the top off. I mean, it looks kind of cool. So one of the things that happened when I replaced the front suspension with the Revell 40 Ford front suspension is I had to replace the X member, and I don't mean the cross member, the X member in the frame with a straight one, because the X member in this kit is kinked out for the Turbo 350 transmission. I had to replace it with a straight one, so the split wishbones would actually mount up there. So now this is snowballed because I can no longer use the Turbo 350. So I need to cut that transmission off, put another one on, or just go completely with a different engine and transmission combo, which I have lots of options, but I wasn't really planning on detailing this under the hood so much, because it's just gonna be a custom where you really appreciate the lines of it sitting on the shelf, and I'm really appreciating the lines of it. I kind of love this thing. Okay, so tell me, another thing is I do have in mind a color. I'm gonna hold that back for now. I may spill the beans. I'm not good at keeping secrets, but It's a good traditional customs color. But yeah, let me know what you think about the 37 Ford Carson topped 2-door Kustom. And I might dig around for another 48 Ford rear bumper to see how it looks, but I like that Lincoln front rear bumper. I just didn't like the big Lincoln bumper on the front. I thought the 48 was a lot better. Anyway, it's stanced out. It's got a good look to it. I'm happy. Yeah, thanks guys for watching, and all the added subscribers, all the new subscribers to the channel. Appreciate it. Next week is spring break, and I'm a teacher, and I have a week off. But if the stars align, I'm going to start working on my dad's 1938 Chevy Coupe. So there's going to be a mixture of model car content and hot rod building going on. So we'll see what happens. I need to get my Volkswagen Bug sold and out of the way, but I may just start on the old Chevy Coupe anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.